Hello and welcome to FPL Happy Hour, episode 19 of season 3 with myself, Sham, otherwise known as FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup on Twitter.
And myself, Rob, otherwise known as FPL Panda.
Rob, how are you? New setting. This is not your house.
No, it's not my house. No, it's my parents' house. They're on holiday, and because I've got a lack of internet, although it's getting sorted tomorrow, fingers crossed. So, yeah, I'm in this very orange-looking room at the
Dedication
moment.
to the cause to go to your parents to record.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, I'm here for the evening. I'll probably end up staying here because I've got to be back here to start work first thing tomorrow morning. So, yeah, but yeah, at least we're here because
Yeah.
I've had a week of no internet. So
Well, I had a week. I just got back from Turkey last week, which is good. Good timing during international break. And then, back to the reality of a wild card that is active.
an active wildcard, which I'm sure we're going to be spending a fair bit of time talking about it.
Because I'm as usual, I'm nowhere near locked in. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with it. I was kind of had it down to 2 drafts, and then Ferran Torres' injury kind of fucked it all up. And now I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but we'll discuss that shortly. Right, what we're doing first then, Rob?
What shall we do first?
I'll let you decide.
I'm out of practice with this. We haven't really, because we haven't been. We've basically taken 2 weeks off, more or less, and not. I mean, I haven't. I didn't actually open up the FPL site till Tuesday or Monday afternoon. I hadn't even looked at my team. Quite enjoyed the international break. And yeah, here we are. It looks like for some people there's still a shitstorm, and for some people it isn't. I've had the advantage of having my wild card in place, which has helped a little bit. I mean, should we talk about, because a lot of people are wildcarding? Maybe we just have a look at how your team is at the moment, or how it was a couple of hours ago, and
On
we
the,
can.
are you talking about from the FPL site?
Yes, it's probably
Or
very
from this?
different to
Well,
that.
so from the FPL side, it is very different because I just had kind of placeholders to try and get some price rises. So what you're looking at now is very different to what it is in my head. Let me tell you what it is in my head. So right, a couple of options I've got. So I'm going to talk you through where I'm at the moment. So I've got Foster and Ramsdale. I like Ramsdale. I think he's a good option. Arsenal's fixtures going forward are good. Foster's a good backup to him. That's why I've got Ramsdale. Other people I considered was obviously Sanchez and Raya. I like both of them. But I'm going towards Ramsdale just because I think I prefer Arsenal from a clean sheet point of view more going forward. At the moment, I have TAA, Chilwell, Diaz, Cancelo, and Livramento. Hold on, let me just double check. Yeah, and Livramento. And I'm kind of stuck between a couple of drafts because one I'm like 0.3 short and one I'm like bang on, but I don't really like the bang on that one that much. So let me just bring it up. Give me a second. Right. Yeah. So, Diaz, Cancelo, TAA, and Rudiger. Sorry, or Chilwell. It could be. So Rudiger or Chilwell depends on Rudiger's injury, and Livramento. I like the 4 at the back. We discussed that bigger the back a few weeks ago, and I like having the City double up at the back. And then in midfield, I've currently got Brownhill, Mbeumo, Rafinha, Salah, and Foden. So this side is 0.3 short. And so this is where I need to kind of make some cutbacks. Brownhill, Mbeumo, Rafinha, Salah, and Foden. I don't like Foden that much, but I really want a City midfielder. I don't know whether or not Foden starts, but with Torres being injured, I'm guessing he probably will start. That's the problem, but we don't really know. I prefer Mahrez in that position, and I'll talk through
You don't
the
know whether
option.
he's going to start either.
I think he's, to be honest, this week I think he's more likely to start than Foden. I don't know. It's more of a gut feel than anything else. There's no kind of like
I
written
think
rule about that.
with Foden, he obviously played the whole of both games for England during the international break, um, and we know what Pep's like. He likes his players to be fresh and ready to go. And yeah, will Pep maybe keep him on the bench this weekend? With obviously they've got a big game in Europe next week, so.
And then up top, I've got Lukaku, Antonio, and Malpe. Now, the reason why I've gone Malpe is because I want a 1 week punt against Norwich. So this draft is 0.3 short. So I need to try and shave 0.3 from this draft somewhere. And so the option that I've got is downgrading Malpe to Tony, because Malpe was going to be Tony next week. That was kind of the plan. And Rudiger to Chilwell. That's 0.0. So that's bang on. So just to repeat the side that is bang on.
My only issue with that is then you've got Umbuemo and Tony. I don't think you need both of them.
I don't mind. I want Mbeumo and Tony going forward. I don't want them this week, which is why I had Malpe in there. But I don't mind them going forward. I'm happy with the Brentford double up going forward. Honestly, I am. Like, their fixtures are great. And I think going forward, they're a really good option for the double up. I don't, so you got Chelsea and Leicester, then afterwards you've got Burnley and Norwich, and I think even then the run continues good after that. So I don't mind having them going forward.
Yeah, it's pretty good up until for what 5 game weeks, 4 or 5 game weeks. It's pretty good. They don't really turn for them. They don't really turn until like 17, 18.
Yeah. So that's why I don't really mind the double up there. The thing is, the other option I've got is if I really want to squeeze in Mahrez, I can do for Foden, and then go 3 at the back, or have the fourth one. So like downgrade Diaz, for example, to Ben White, or the other player that I really like is Pinnock of Brentford, and go for a triple up, Brentford triple up, which I also don't mind.
What you get, Pinnock though? What are like? Let's be serious now. You're getting some long throws.
Well, no, I think has he had any returns? I think he's had a couple.
Yeah, from long throws. He's had some assists from long throws.
Well, there we go. It's still an assist, isn't it?
Yeah, but like one of them was against like Arsenal with the worst defending that I've ever seen in game week 1. But yeah, I'm not keen. I'm not keen on the double up of Mbeumo and Tony. I'd actually, I think I prefer just Mbeumo.
Who to get instead of Tony? Then I don't really like Wang.
Why not?
I'm not that keen on the Wolves attack compared to the Brentford
I mean,
attack.
they've got coming up. They've got Villa away. They could get a goal. Leeds away could get a goal. They've got Everton at home. They could get a goal. Palace away. They can get like Wolves can get goals all the way through there, and there looks like they'll be like everything says that.
But so can Brentford. So can Brentford.
Who scores more though in the next say 4 or 5 games?
Brentford.
Well, just in the Burnley and the Norwich game.
Maybe. From
Brentford,
next game week,
they won't.
Definitely
not against Burnley. They won't because of the way they set up. Burnley aren't going to come out and let Brentford press them high up the pitch and stuff because that's not how Burnley play. Like they're not going to leave lots of space in and around the back. I think Brentford are actually more likely to score against Leicester and maybe even Chelsea than they are against Burnley.
maybe.
just in the way that those teams play.
What do you think about Amara's punt
Again,
instead of Foden?
I mean, I've said time and time again, in that City midfield, I only really like De Bruyne and Grealish, like because I think they're pretty much nailed. Well, De Bruyne is
But
nailed.
Grealish's output is just
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't.
Grealish's FPL
I wouldn't.
output is just
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, I wouldn't buy Grealish as an FPL asset, but I know that he plays every week for City. Whilst with Foden, Bernardo, Mahrez, Sterling, uh, Jesus, there's all of these players just constantly rotating. I think if you get Mahrez, then you're going to be stuck with him, and you're going to get weeks where he doesn't play.
Only for 3 game weeks. Plan is just to have him for 3 game weeks.
And I remember, like, we could go back to the conversation we had in pre-season about having players that are 7.5 million sitting on your bench, and you're going to get that with Mahrez. And you were burnt last year with Cancelo constantly. Like, I'd probably just spend the money and have an extra City defender and make
Yeah,
sure you've got
2.
Cancelo and Diaz, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. That
you can't
okay.
go,
You mean that's
and then yeah, probably stick um, with Foden or go into Foden after this week. Or well, you know that if Foden gets 20 minutes, he can return, and you're not spending the money that it costs you for Mahrez.
what do you think about the Malpay shout this week? 1 week punt.
Yeah, I like Marpe this week. Um, he's decent value as well. So he's someone that you can, if you're on a wild card, yeah, bring him in and bench him for the next two against City and Liverpool, depending on other players that you've got in.
Yeah,
Because
well, the
then,
plan wouldn't be to bench him. The plan would be to transfer him straight
and
out for Tony.
I mean, Newcastle aren't going to have a world class team in game week 11, are they? They're not going to suddenly, unless they can call it an emergency to UEFA and uh, go and buy every player. So yeah, this Newcastle team is still going to be very weak at least till January. They might have a. It'll be interesting to see on Sunday how they perform with sort of a rocking St James's behind them. I think they'll win on Sunday, to be fair. But once that highs kind of died down, they're going to be back to where they were a couple of weeks ago. I don't even think a different coach is going to do much different for them because they haven't got the quality there at the back to defend with. So yeah, Bright. I'd if I had more pay, um, I'd be holding on to him. Trossard's another one that's a decent shout moving forward as well. If you wanted a Brighton asset, few people, and I spotted this during the Palace game just before the break, and Cucurella, the
Yeah,
left
it's
wing back,
expensive though. That's the only problem.
he's a bit expensive, but if you want a sort of a high flying wing back, because you're gonna if you haven't got Sanchez or any of the defence, then yeah, I mean this weekend I think against Norwich, I think you're more or less like if you've got a Brighton defensive asset, I think you're almost guaranteed like 6 points. Like
You've just cursed it for everyone,
I've
mate.
cursed it, and I've got a double Brighton defence this weekend. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't shy away from a Brighton asset at all on a wild card. But yeah, maybe Cucurella is probably a bit much because then you'd probably be losing out on having two City defenders and TAA in there as well.
Yeah, I think still I need to see what happens at the press conferences tomorrow. I think need to know what happens with Rudiger. If TAA is definitely nailed, I know Klopp said that he's fit. It's a difficult one. And also Rafinha's minutes. Again, the other option I was thinking was to don't put in Rafinha and bring him in a couple of weeks' time, because we don't know whether or not he's going to play. But yeah, still kind of I'm in an R in about a couple of positions. There's a few, most of them are nailed. I would say 11 are nailed. It's just kind of the odd few that I'm still yet to decide on. Right, should we have a look at our free hit drafts then for this week?
Yeah.
Our free hit. How's it going so far? Did you win again last week?
Yes, I won. I outscored my normal team again. I got 44 points, and I think you got 38 points. Or James got 38 points a couple of weeks ago. So that's horrible how I've set that formation up. So this is I'm 4-3 up now. I've taken the lead for the first time this season. I'm 4-3 up. And this is my team for this week. So I've got Sanchez in goal, Cancelo, Diaz, and Robertson as a back three, Trossard, De Bruyne, Greenwood, and Saka, with Salah captain as my midfield, and up front Antonio and Neil Maupay.
I guess it's important to kind of say at this point, just for those that are new listeners or haven't tuned in before, every week we do a free hit team that we think are going to be the best players for this week, which kind of brings us on to a talking point of those teams. So yeah, in case you're wondering, this isn't Rob's team. This is just his free hit team for this week that he would play.
Yeah. The only one that I kind of undernard about was probably Greenwood. But there wasn't much else in that price point that I really liked. Like if I knew that Rafinha was, if Rafinha wasn't playing, when's it tomorrow night? If Rafinha wasn't playing, then I'd probably have him in there instead of Greenwood. But yeah, fairly happy with everyone else. Don't think Antonio's hamstrings have gone yet. They might break on his plane journey back from Jamaica. But yeah, I mean, you'd expect City to put some away this week. I wouldn't mind. I think Cancelo could get a return. I think De Bruyne is probably, other than Salah, I think De Bruyne is actually probably he's not going to be the most popular captain because not many people are going to have him, but he's probably the next best captain choice out of the premiums this week. But nobody owns him, so he's not going to make much difference for my normal team. So gone with that. I mean, the bench is nothing. Foster, Livramento, Brandon Williams, and Keenan Davies, because he was 4.4. That made it so it was nailed on 100 million. But yeah, fairly happy with that. Let's have a look at your team. Oh, using the wrong mouse. Here's your team. Same formation.
Same formation. So I've gone Ramsdale in goal. TAA. I'm starting Livramento ahead of Ben White, and I've got Cancelo in there. In mid five, I've got. You've got my captain wrong, by the way.
You ticked Lukaku in the sheet.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Okay, we need to change that because I put it on Mahrez.
You've captained Mahrez, and you don't get a vice captain in this. So
do you not get a vice captain in this?
No, you don't get a vice captain.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take the punt on Mahrez, and I've gone.
I was laughing because what if Lukaku doesn't start? I'm like, oh, you've ruined that captain choice. Now you're going to put it on Mahrez, and he probably won't start either. So.
Mahrez, Salah, Foden, Saka, Trossard, and then up top Lukaku and Maupay. I imagine Lukaku will probably start, but we'll probably find out more tomorrow in the presses.
I think,
But I think that game's going to be really open. I think that could be like a 2-2 or something, Brentford and Chelsea.
yeah, I mean, the whole thing with muscle fatigue, it basically just sounds like, yeah, we don't really need you, so
Yeah,
you can have a night off, um, and go back to your club a bit earlier. I think that was kind of what it sounded like. It's the same with Rudiger as well. Um, yeah, it kind of seemed like just tiredness more than anything. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. Um, it could there could be press conferences tomorrow and things, like Rudiger's out, Lukaku's out, and yeah, everyone's fucked. Like if they've made moves early, people on wildcards will be laughing.
yeah. Okay, right. What we're doing next? Are we looking at your teams, our teams?
Well, we've looked at your team. Well, have a look at my one. So this is how
Yeah,
it
guys,
is.
if you've got any questions, just sorry, Rob, just quickly, if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. Um, I guess after this, we can have a look at potential wildcard options, like any differentials that people should be looking at for the wildcard, and yeah, for the next couple of weeks. Go on, Rob.
So yeah, I'm lining up with Sanchez, and I've got Sanchez and Veltman. So yeah, the Brighton double up. I'm going to start Shaw this week. At the moment, I've got Rudiger, Gray, Mount, Salah, Benrahma. At the moment, the captaincy's on Ronaldo, but it's going to be on Salah. Antonio, looks like Bamford's still out as well. On the bench, I've got Gaeta, Sarr, Sufal, and Simicas. My gut feeling at the moment is to do Bamford to Huang and Sufal to Cancelo, and then maybe bench Shaw. And then if Rudiger doesn't play, then Shaw comes in. Um, that's my gut feel at the moment. I'm a bit loath to, like a couple of days ago, I put a tweet out saying it's either that was the move or it was Sufal and Shaw and Bamford for a -8 out for Diaz, Cancelo, and Wang. But a -8, then I'm in kind of a wild card territory, especially as I took a -4 in the last game week. Or there was, yeah, the case of wildcarding. But then thinking about it, how many real problems are there in this team that I can't fix with a -4? There's not enough for me to
Yeah,
go, I should wildcard. Um, like my
I sorry, Rob, go on.
like next week was always going to be the week which I moved off of Ronaldo onto Lukaku, and the if I knew that Lukaku definitely starts against Brentford this week, I would be tempted into the wild card, but just this question mark over, um, yeah, his fitness, even though it could have just been him getting a rest, it makes me think, yeah, I'm happy to keep Ronaldo, especially, um, yeah, off the back of his 10th international hat trick during the week. Um, he's a tap in maestro. So shout out to Thomas, who's just said all his goals are tap ins. But yeah, it's I think, yeah, there's no reason to get rid of him, especially against this Leicester defence that aren't very good. To be honest, I think like with the United game, it could uh, that could be a 2-2 or a 3-2, because United will have our backup defence out in Lindelof and Bailly, who will need to use it as a training match because we've got our first like really big game of the season next week against Liverpool, and uh, yeah, won't have half of our back line out. So yeah, fairly. I think I'm happy with this um, at the moment. I
I
mean,
was going to say
how many
on
players
on
would
what
you? How many players would you honestly go, I need to get rid of that player now.
Well, so it's interesting you say that, because I was just about to say, in hindsight, I think I shouldn't have played my wild card. And the reason is well, so I should and I shouldn't. So there was two thinkings. The first thing was I want to get on the fixture. I want to get on a triple Man City, and I want to get on a double Chelsea. That was my initial thoughts, and that's the main reason why I played it. I wanted to get in Mbeumo, and I wanted to get in another striker, and it was kind of like a want rather than a need. Like I didn't need to wildcard, I just wanted to, because I wanted to kind of get in
You
on
were
them.
getting FOMO basically.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was getting FOMO. It was more in terms of I wanted to jump on the good fixtures that were there. So if I look at your side at the moment, I that like I was on a space earlier on Twitter, and they were asking me about Ben Rama, and I said this to you a few weeks ago, the last time we potted, that I don't think Ben Rama is a get rid of. You don't get rid of Ben Rama. The only reason why you get rid of Ben Rama is if you're upgrading him or you're downgrading him to improve your squad elsewhere. There isn't anyone around Ben Rama's level that I think is as good. So, for example, if you're upgrading Ben Rama to Foden or a Grealish, I don't mind that move. That's fine. Man City have got 3 good fixtures. You want to get on them. That's fine. I don't hate that. If you want to downgrade to an Mbeumo to then get, I don't know, a 5 million 5 million defender up to a Diaz or a Cancelo, I don't mind that either. Or get another premium defender. Yeah, I don't mind that. But there's no real need to get rid of Ben Rama at the moment. The only thing that I see wrong with your squad that you could change is Sarr, Sifal, Bamford. Sifal, I think, is a problem because we're not keeping clean sheets.
Yep.
So I think you need to get rid of him. Bamford's injured. And Sarr, I think I think you should move him on, because I don't think Watford have got good fixtures coming up. And I think there are better options at that level for Sarr.
Yeah, but I think with Sarr, you can go, like, I'm fairly happy to just have him on my bench for 3-4 weeks.
So if you're
because he's not using a massive chunk of the budget up, really, is he? It's what, 5.6, 5.7.
Yeah.
There's a bit of value tied up into him as well. So it's not like with Sufal or Bamford, where there's a large amount of money tied up in having them there, when I could have, like I've said about the Bamford to Hwang move, to then use that money to distribute into the defenders, where Shaw's going to be a problem when we play. We've got Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Spurs. We'll play everyone in the next few weeks. So I think Shaw is a bit of a problem as well.
I don't see there's a real need to wildcard in your squad. Like, there aren't enough problems. However, what I will say is you've got to be careful you're not going to fall behind. And that's the reason why I wildcarded, because I think now is a good time to really to get on players that you don't have, that a lot of people. So there's a lot of differentials out there that are genuine good picks. So Mbeumo is only 1.4% owned. Foden's 2.5% owned. These are good options. Like Tony's 10% owned. These are all really good picks that are differentials as well. And if you can get on them now, you're likely to move up. They could backfire, yeah, but I think they're really good options to get on. Even Ramsdale, for example, you could gamble on Ramsdale. I'm not saying necessarily this week to do it, but I'm saying within the next couple of weeks, I think there's really good options for you to.
I think if I was going to wildcard, because I'm taking a hit this week,
It would be this week.
It would have to be this week that I did it. Like I can't go, oh, I'm going to take a hit, and this is why what I had to think about last time, and it's easy to forget that because it was 2-3 weeks ago. Is last week it was take a hit or wildcard, and I knew if I didn't wildcard then, I'd be taking another hit this week, but I could not wildcard because it would just be pointless of wildcard. It would have been pointless of taking the hit last week. So after that's
The
kind
other
of
thing is
very much
that I've
playing in my
noticed
mind.
you
And
don't have you. Sorry, just quickly, you don't have Rafinha in your side, do you?
no,
No, so that's not a problem for this week, but for next week it will be because he's like 30, he's going to be like 30% owned. He's already like 60-70% owned in the top 100k. So that's where I'm saying about
it's
falling
only
behind
a
that
problem if
you
he
have to worry
returns.
about.
It's only a problem if he returns.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
And he
Yeah, of
hasn't.
course.
I mean, he's a brilliant player, but there's no consistency in returns from him.
Wow. I think he's returned in the last two, hasn't he?
But
From what I
then,
remember.
didn't do anything up till then. And it's like
I don't know. I think
at the
Rafinha's
moment,
one that you probably.
I think I probably like against a Wolves defense that's looked tougher in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, probably. I don't feel like I'd need him to have him for then. Game week 10, I probably would, and that's probably when I'd actually come off Benrahma, and go Benrahma to Rafinha, in game week 10, because that's a nice jumping off point to come off him. I'm very much determined now to ride out this rough patch because I know that in game week 14, game week 15, I can steam into a lot more teams for the fixture runs that those other teams have. I mean, it's slightly old graphics, so the FTRs aren't completely up to date. But that run of that game week 15, like the fact you could just steam into United, City, Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea, and like you could just go into all of them, and knowing that you can also you've got Brentford, so you've got Mbeumo, you've got Tony, who'll be a bit cheaper that can give you some value in there. You could probably jump onto Martinez because by then that second international, but that next international breaks out the way. So you've got Martinez all the way now through till February. So yeah, I really like that game week 15 to jump on, and I think that, well, what I hope is that I won't lose too much ground now, but game week 15 with the right wild card, I should over those 4 or 5 game weeks then be able to make up the ground I've lost, plus gain ground, more ground than I
Yeah,
would now.
the only thing that you have to consider and kind of be mindful is what you don't want to do is get into a position where you're 3-4 weeks down the line and you're well behind, and then you're like, fuck, I better play the wild card. And then you've missed the good opportunity of 15 and 8 to play the wild card, and you're playing it in a not ideal time where we've both agreed you either do it in 8 or 15. Like for you wanted to do it in 15, and that's fine, or 15, 16, and for you that's fine. For me, I've just bit on the bullet and gone for 8 because for me I wanted to kind of just plow on and take advantage of these. You don't want to go at like 12, 13 because you're now shitting it about being too much behind. You don't want to be sitting at 1.2, 1.5 million rank, 2 million rank, and then being like, shit, I might as well wildcard now. That's the only worry that you got to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I already have an idea of the sort of team I'd have by 15, and the
Okay.
sort of players that would be in my team. I'd definitely have two City defenders. I'd definitely have Ronaldo back in there. I'd have Antonio back in there. Um, who else is there? I'd probably have a Mount as well. Tony and Buemo. Might even go big at the back on Liverpool and City, and have like Robertson, TAA, Diaz, Cancelo. Um, Although it'd probably be a bit too much. But yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the sort of team though that I'd be able to plough into 15 with. And that's also
For
giving
those
the
that
likes
are
of
on what?
it's also giving the likes
Sorry.
of teams like Spurs to sort their lives out a bit and try and find like one. I think the case with Spurs is once they kind of get a grip of this new identity that they've got under Nuno, they will start to produce the performances. They're not like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. They're not suddenly awful players overnight. They will produce the returns. I think it's just taking them some time to adjust. So yeah, and that just gives them a bit of time because they'd probably be up here with some of the teams that I've spoken about by then as well. Well, you'd like to think so.
Um, just before we wrap up, I don't think there's any questions in the chat. But have you got any? If you were wildcarding this week, anyone from a differentials point of view that you really think is a good option to go for? Anyone that you would consider, like who maybe I should consider as differential this week?
I mean,
Not necessarily just for this week, but on for a wild card going forward.
I do like Mason Mount, and I don't think he's owned by like enough people to. I'll grab it here, have a quick look at his ownership, but yeah, he's not massively owned, and I think it's a
I
nice.
really don't like Mason Mount.
The whole of that Chelsea,
I
like
really
the
don't
way
like
that
him.
they attack, it goes through Mason Mount. Everything
Yeah,
goes
but
through
from an
him,
FPL point of view,
and
I
without
know, I
Alonso
know,
there,
but
he gets set pieces.
I don't know. I just don't like him as an FPL
It's
option.
because he's never gonna go and get you a 15 pointer or a 20 pointer, which you might get from the likes of other players like Rafinha and Sarr and players like that. But he'll get you returns, he'll get you assists, he'll get the odd goal here and there. Um, so like him, Saka's another one. We've both got him in our pre-hit teams this week. He's a good option. He's only owned by his ownership's 11.8%. Mount's only 8.8%. And at 7.4, he's a great option. Saka
Do you know what
6.3
I
million.
prefer? Do you prefer Saka over Ben Rama?
Right now, probably.
Really, I don't.
Because I think the way that Arsenal play, like Tierney comes very high. Well, the fullbacks are now coming very high up with Tierney and the the Japanese one on the other side. Um, and then
Tomiyasu.
that's it, Tomiyasu. And it's allowing Saka, who occasionally drifts either side, but it's allowing him to come inside a lot more and play almost like a right forward, um, which I think there's and he's got the ability to, like how we said about Mount not having the ability to be explosive. Saka's got that ability to be explosive, and I think at some point he will. Um, Smith Rowe, 5.7% owned, 5.4 million. Um, I'm never going to shut up about him because he scored in midweek for the under 21s, breaking through, and he's very much nailed himself as like the number 10 in this Arsenal side now. And he's had returns over the last couple of game weeks. Jimenez is only 6.5% owned, 7.5 million. I think where you're wanting to spend that bit extra in the defence, it means you can't maybe get to him if you want to keep hold of Antonio and have one of Ronaldo or Lukaku. So that's why it then leads me to Hwang over Ivan Toney, especially if I've got Mbeumo, because Mbeumo seems like he's playing more as the striker, and Tony kind of plays just off. So
Tony's on pens as well.
Tony is on pens as well, but I still think out of the two of them, and Mbeumo, like, he's probably as differential as you can get.
No, I agree.
His
I agree.
ownership's
I just
like
I haven't
tiny.
I'm not feeling the Wan love Wang.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't like.
It's
I
probably
don't like getting
because
Wolves attackers.
you've been on holiday whilst Wolves have been putting in performances.
No, I've only been on holiday 1 week.
Yeah, but they put in a good performance, and he
Yeah.
scored
We've
twice.
got a question in the chat. Nikki asks, Ronaldo to Lukaku and Shaw to Cancelo worth a -4. Caveat: I have Rudiger, so if Rudiger and Cancelo don't play, Livramento covers one, but I don't have another. I've got Tamishkas. Trying to hold wildcard till game week 15. I then asked, do you have enough money to do Shaw straight to Cancelo without -4? And he said no.
I probably wouldn't do Ronaldo to Lukaku as part of a hit, not this week.
I
I
agree, I
mean,
think.
I'm doing Sufal to Cancelo and moving on Bamford. I'd probably try and find that money somewhere else. Not doing Ronaldo to Lukaku. I'd probably wait a week to do the Ronaldo to Lukaku move.
Yeah.
I think Cancelo will play. So you've got Livramento that covers Rudiger just in case. But yeah, I think you've got to try and maybe find the money somewhere else. I'm not a fan of taking the hit for a move that's it's sideways. I think this week Ronaldo to Lukaku. I don't think there's I don't think there's more upside from. I'm not going to
Yeah,
make.
agreed.
I don't think I'm going to make 4 points from that move.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that.
You might
Right.
make it from the short Cancelo move though. Like you might make 1 or 2 points there.
Right. Anything else to discuss, Rob?
No, I don't think so. We'll have a quick look at the league table because it's been ages. I don't even think we've podded since the last game week. So yeah, who have we got? God, it's so tiny on my screen. There is
That's what she said.
Bezium and Joseph Samsoto in joint ninth. Ryan Campbell in eighth. With Dara Cunningham both on 455 points. This Stoic, 456 points in sixth. Paul Welsh and Rich Kirk joint fourth on 457 points. Jordan Liddell on 464 points. Lewis Chambers, 468 points. And Deirdre Kane, who is also leading the big FPL mini league on 473 points. Another big week there. 74 points that week. It's like double what I scored. I felt I got like 41 or 42 points in the end, but 74 points in like a really low scoring game week is
Game week is
insane.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. Who are you going for as your captain this week? Must be Salah.
Yeah. I did think about Mahrez at one point, as my captain, but it's too much of a gamble. Even if I did have him in my side, yeah, I'll be going Salah. I think he's the obvious choice this week, isn't he? I mean,
You're not scared
you
of
could go with.
you're not scared of Gandhi and his don't ever captain the early game.
I am, but
if
let's
everyone
go with
else
Salah.
if everyone else is doing it, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're going with Salah, I assume, as well.
Yeah, I did think about Robert Sanchez, but yeah, I'm going to go with the safe option.
What about Ronaldo? What about Ronaldo?
I think Ronaldo is a nice punt. Um, the same with Lukaku this week. I think they'll both be low effective ownership. Like if you think that Salah doesn't go crazy, um, then yeah, Lukaku and Ronaldo are reasonably good options. But and it's the same with like any of the City forwards. I think any of them are a reasonably good option. TAA. If we get the news tomorrow from Klopp to say he's fit, he's another great option as a captain.
Well, I can see Watford scoring. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we spoke about, and when I then came off of TAA 2-3 weeks ago, it was
I think
way that
Cancelo's a good shout.
yeah. I mean, he's playing, especially when they've had Jesus on the right. If he's been playing on the right and he's been with Jesus, he's played really high up, and even on the left with Grealish, he tends to play almost like because Grealish plays so high up the pitch. Cancelo's playing like a left midfielder.
Yeah.
He's like the returns are going to come for him, I think. And it's knowing now that he's pretty much like last season, he was kind of competing with Carl Walker for that right back spot for long periods, but now he's kind of cemented that left back spot for his own. Obviously, Pep asked him to do a job there at left back, and he's kind of gone, well, I can if I do well here, I start every game. Simple as that, and he's doing well there. So yeah, he's a good shout this week as well. But you're gonna be looking at an EO of what over 150% on Salah in the top 10k.
180. 180.
Yeah, it'll be the highest we see, I think, before. Like I don't think we'll see a higher week than this before the double game weeks and the triple captains start being played.
Yeah, agreed. Right, are we recording Monday?
Yeah, I'll have internet at home, so yes, we can record on Monday. Probably, might have if we all record early, then we might have it out before, well, by the end of the Arsenal Palace game. So yeah, Monday we'll get recorded on Monday, and video will be out Tuesday.
Cool. Right. Okay. So thanks for tuning in. You can find us on Twitter at FPL_happy hour. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, and a number of other podcasts, and our YouTube channel, FPL Happy Hour. Please like, subscribe, and share. And all your retweets are really appreciated. So until next week, have a great game week. Take care.
Cheers, guys.